Batter up.
Rock and Chris, they're on the air. Yankees, Mets, they're everywhere. From the Bronx to Queens, the diamond gleams. MLB talk, the ultimate team. MLB is the place to be. Rob and Chris with the pitch you'll see. Swinging stats and stories fly. Baseball talk that's amplified.
And welcome to a new episode of NYMLB Talk with your hosts, Rob and Chris, as we cover the Mets, Yankees, and all of Major League Baseball. And if you're on YouTube right now, you could hit that sub button. That would be great. We appreciate it. And if you want to follow us on TikTok or on Twitter/X, you can follow us at NYMLB Talk, Rob at R. Maraska, myself at CP7NY. First of all, let's give a quick shout out. Merry Christmas to everybody.
Yes.
Couple of days. Hopefully safe travels to everybody. Enjoy the days coming up. So, Rob, pretty non-exciting offseason so far for both our teams.
Yeah, well, actually, it's actually for Met fans, it's been a pretty hard offseason, as we know. And now they're just waiting for some big things to get done. But what's going on with the Mets and Yankees and grabbing each other's players? What's going on with that?
Yeah, they're just swapping players at this point. But I mean, you're getting, the somewhat better, obviously better players than we're getting. We're just getting the bottom of the roster guys and maybe some AAA depth at this point, right? So that guy Short, the shortstop, whatever his name is.
Zach Short.
Zach Short, whatever. That's a guy hopefully we don't see in pinstripes. Hopefully that's a AAA guy. It is what it is at this point. I think, people get we're getting a little bit upset because we're antsy because we want the big name signing, right? We want the Bellinger, the Tucker, Amai from Japan or someone like that, or a big trade. But it's just not happening right now because, their asking prices are much higher than either the Mets, Yankees, or any other team wants to sign, or otherwise they would have been signed already, right? So I don't blame some of these teams, right, for not going whatever Bellinger wants, because no team is even close. So he obviously wants 7 or 8 years at this point, and maybe the teams are only offering him 4 or 5. So that's probably why you don't hear much, right? So it would be kind of cool to get one of these guys signed by Christmas. But I don't think it's happening because we have heard nothing. Like, that's the other part, right? We've heard nothing, at least on the Yankee side. I mean, we've heard nothing at all. We get the, we're the front runner for Michael King, and he's deciding between us and Boston and Baltimore, and then he ends up staying with San Diego. So who knows what the rumors at this point? So maybe nothing is better than hearing fake rumors at this point.
Yeah, but it's like I said, it's been tough on the Met fans, and Steve Cohen finally answered some messages on X, right? And he was scolding Met fans. I think you're reading the room wrong, Steve. I mean, I know you're a billionaire. I know you know how to make money. I know you know what's going on and what to do. But sometimes, and you're a big Met fan, so just put yourself in the position of Met fans, how they feel right now, okay? They love Nimmo, Diaz, and especially Alonso, all right? So you got to cut them a break. Yeah, they're upset. Right. The core was not working. It wasn't working. We know they didn't win anything. They got to the National League Championship Series in 2024. That was a lot of fun. But then again, Stearns got rid of some of the minor pieces that really made that team what it was in the playoff run. Harrison Bader, Iglesias, they got rid of those little pieces that were pretty important in that clubhouse. And then when Soto got there, I guess the clubhouse changed, Chris, because we were on Friday night, we were talking to Mickey Callaway about this. And he said the way he feels, because he was a coach with Cleveland with Lindor, he said there's no way it's Lindor's fault in that clubhouse.
Right.
So is it Soto's fault, Chris? What do you think?
I'm sure that has something to do with it. I mean, he's coming in as, the $50 million a year player, right? And he is, going to be the face, or if he already is the face of the franchise. Now, you coming in as that guy when there was already, like you mentioned, Alonso, and Lindor is already there. Nimmo has been there for forever too. So it's kind of a weird mix, but I think eventually, it's going to be Soto's team, right? It's eventually going to be Soto only team. Like now it's Soto and Lindor's team, right? As we go forward. But yeah, I'm sure it wasn't a great mix. They said Soto loved playing with Judge with the Yankees, so he was enjoying his time and all that. So maybe it's a different mix. Maybe Soto and Lindor maybe are not the best of friends, but it's like they don't have to be, right? Because not every player on the team are best of friends with each other, right? There's not everybody's hanging out after the game and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know. I think it's going to be I think it's going to be straightened out by the time the regular season starts. I don't think that's an issue. Like Mickey was explaining about Lindor. Like Lindor's not that type of guy who's going to make something, make a problem in the clubhouse, right? And I don't think Soto is either. It doesn't make sense to me why he would.
Yeah.
He's already the face of the franchise. If they give Lindor the captaincy, I'm just saying, if they do, then fine. Do I think Soto's going to make a big deal? I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
And they probably won't name Lindor captain, and that's okay too. Like that's not the worst thing if they don't name a captain. It's different in like hockey where you always have a captain and an assistant captain. In baseball, it's not always needed, I think,
No. I agree with you. It's not always needed. I mean, the Yankees have always had captains, basically, but that was, that's the exception to the rule. I think the Mets had Hernandez and Carter were co-captains, and John Franco was captain, and David Wright, of course, the captain. That's it. The captain of the Mets, David Wright. So I don't even know. I don't know if they really need one now. And really I don't think a team needs a captain if they're, when you have the players like Soto, Lindor. But something's got to be going on in that clubhouse. And hopefully it does get straightened out by spring training. And they both the Mets and the Yankees have got to make some moves. Major moves, moves that we're going to be psyched about, because so far the Mets have just, they've added some decent players. I have to say, Williams now is more of a big deal than he was when Diaz before Diaz signed with the Dodgers. I really thought Diaz was going to come back and Williams was going to be the setup guy and Diaz was going to be the closer, but it didn't work out that way. Diaz, obviously, he wanted to go to the Dodgers. He felt that they were close. They won 2 in a row, right? So I guess he figures they're gonna make 3 in a row. His brother pitched for them last year, had nothing but great things to talk about the coaching staff and the whole team, atmosphere. So, he wanted to go. He didn't even give the Mets a chance to up their offer, which they said that they would, they were willing to do. So he's gone. What are you going to do? Pete is just the big one that hurts Met fans. But here's a question, Chris, for you. What do you think happens? Because right now, I'm telling you, and you can't blame them, Baltimore Orioles are really pushing Pete. It's like he's the big celebrity in town now, right?
Yeah.
Polar bear. Everywhere you look for Baltimore, he's on billboards. He's like everywhere. He's now the face of their franchise.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, listen, maybe Rutschman or Gunnar Henderson you want to throw in there as well. But yeah, I mean, he's the big money guy, right? I mean, they just signed him to this huge contract. So yeah, I mean, you know what? You can't blame a team, especially like Baltimore, who hasn't made a lot of noise with free agency in the last few years, right? at least for a long time, actually. So it's good that they're pushing this player out there. They're saying, look, we're spending money. We're, like we did make the big splash. We are going to be a better team, and maybe that's how they're going to like raise their ticket prices probably at some point this year, right? So they're trying to ease it onto the fans a little bit. But I'm sure the fans don't mind. They want to see this. They want to see this team improve, right? Because you have this young nucleus of really good players. So yeah, give us some veteran players to add to it, some pitching now. And you know what? Now they can make a run in this division because now this division is going to be really good, right? Between Toronto, Boston, all these teams have, they're much better and they've become better this offseason. The Yankees, yes, they had less work to do than Baltimore, maybe even Boston. But you know what? They still got work to do. And now with these teams getting better, this is going to be the toughest division in baseball. We've been talking about it. I mean, there's no weak teams in there. Even Tampa is going to be back in their hometown, their dome. So that's going to be a pain in the neck team to play against. So, but this division's really good. So the Yankees do have to make some more moves, right? I mean, on top of what, they've made those minor moves, but now you got to make you need a big bat for that lineup. Just like, we've been saying the Mets need a protector for Juan Soto. The Yankees need a protector for Judge. Yeah, they got, of course, they got Stanton, but we know with his injury history. And listen, if I'm a pitcher, I'm pitching to Stanton any day of the week over Judge, right? So that's not that much of a protection. You still got Jazz is there too. So there is something there, but they still do need another bat for sure.
Yeah, Armand, it is funny right now. It just seems like because it's happening in like a little clutter, right? The Mets are doing it and the Yankees are doing it. It's musical trains or musical chairs between the Mets and the Yankees.
And you see it more now just because more players move from team to team anyway, right? So now you're bound to see more Yankee Met players playing for both the Yankees and the Mets, I should say. But this year it seems like it's a lot more for sure than normal.
And Chris, so the Yankees signed Paul Blackburn also. What do you think about that?
Listen, he's going to be one of two things for the team, right? He's either the mop-up guy in the bullpen or an emergency starter, right?
Right.
Or on the other side, if he, like the Yankees think that they could, you're hearing that they think they could unlock him like they unlocked Weaver when he first came over. That's great. If he becomes like Jeff Weaver, that would be awesome. Can he be that way? I don't know. But yes, I agree. The best is yet to come. But I think, listen, it is what it is. It's a small move. It's not for a lot of money. So who cares? It's a 1-year deal, right? If it doesn't work out, right, they could cut him. So, but it's just another arm. We always say it. You never have enough pitching, right? So this is just another example of that.
Yes, we were talking about that before.
Yes,
me and Chris. Yeah.
And former Met, we could say, right? I think he's played like 6 games with the Mets.
He had one hit for. He has one career.
I don't know if he's technically a former Met, but
he is. Yeah, he is.
Not a guy that anybody remembers.
It was in 2020 also, so it was in the COVID season, so no one saw him play live for the Mets anyway. Right. So, but yeah, that was another one. And then the Mets stole that 16-year-old from the Dominican Republic from the Yankees. Last week also. That was another move that they made. He had a verbal agreement with the Yankees, and he I guess he decided the Mets gave him what's his name? Wandy Assagen. 16 years old, backed out of the verbal agreement with the Yankees, and he signed with the Mets for $3.8 million.
That's a lot for a kid, right?
He's one of the top 5 prospects right now, they said. Big prospect at that age. And that money, I mean, you can't blame the kid coming from the Dominican Republic and getting that much money.
Yeah. It's just, listen, it's just strange, because the Yankees fired their head of scouting down there and all that. So, but yeah, it's definitely a big loss because, this kid has a chance to become a really good ball player, right? Because he's only 16. Right. But on the flip side, yeah, most of these kids that are signed down there to all these contracts don't turn out well, right? These are just, those extra lottery tickets
Yeah,
that you get, whatever. And hey, if it hits, it hits, right? And he might turn into a superstar. He might turn into nothing, but
you never know.
it's a big blow when it's the Mets versus the Yankees.
Yeah, exactly. And I just wanted to say, if you guys did not see Friday Night Show with Mickey Callaway, former Mets manager Mickey Callaway, check it out in the archives on YouTube, because he was really informative, right, Chris? He really he was great Friday night.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, all the times we had Mickey Callaway on have been great conversations, because he gives you the insight that nobody else can, right? I mean, he's giving you insight as a manager, as a pitching coach, and pretty recent too. I mean, it was only 5-6 years ago that he was, the manager of the Mets. So I think it's great that we're able to have a conversation with him. And yeah, he gave us a lot of information that most people, or that we haven't heard yet, especially with the whole Met clubhouse thing, right? We heard a lot about that. So it's really good. It's definitely worth it to check out.
Yeah, it definitely is. All right, since we're on, why don't you bring up that picture of the possible new Mets or Yankees uniforms for next season, by the way. With everything that's going on, this has been out there, and it's crazy. Do you have that?
Yep. Hold on.
Okay.
I mean, I'm hoping we don't see this ever.
Yeah, I don't want this is
or somebody walking around with it, because it's really disgusting, to be honest. But
it is disgusting. Yeah, look, there it is. Look at that. Possible Subway Series jersey. It is. Listen, I don't want to see anybody. I've gone to Subway Series games where I've seen them wearing hats. There's a breaking news that Armand just said.
Yes,
so
McNeil
we have to check
to the
this out.
A's. All right.
See, we like that. Thanks.
Yes.
Breaking news. So let's see. Chris, you want to check that out while I check these comments out?
Yeah. The A's are acquiring second baseman Jeff McNeil from the Mets. Sources tell ESPN. I don't know. They didn't say anything about the return yet, but
okay.
So we'll see.
A Christmas miracle.
Yes, it is a miracle, because think about it. That guy's making all that money, and he doesn't have a spot on the roster. What is he? A backup? What is he? Your utility player? A utility player you could get for a lot less than, what is he getting? Like $17 million or $15 million a year?
All from that 1 year. But what do you think about this comment?
Those guys are slow. I think we're going to be behind the Jays, Boston, and LA buyers. I can't stand how surfing the giant wave, Mr. Georgie. Yeah, listen, they've definitely fallen behind in this. I mean, we got to remember, though, the Yankees still have a really good team, right? And they're gonna add, but it is frustrating at this point. I still believe they're gonna add, whether it's Bellinger they end up with or someone else. But I still think it's going to happen. There's no way this is going to be the team that we're going into, opening day with, right? So we're going to see some moves, I think, more in a trade than in a signing, because there's really not much there in free agency after Bellinger that the Yankees could sign at this point. So I'm looking at more of a trade than anything else, unless they get Amai, the starting pitcher from Japan. Yeah. And that's another one. Like, he's another one that set his price so high that teams were like, nah, we're not going to pay that much for you, because people are thinking he's going to be like Yamamoto of the Dodgers, and he's just not that good. He's a solid starter. He could be a 2, but he's not like Yamamoto being an ace where he's throwing complete games in the World Series and being this phenomenal pitcher. So
I agree with you.
Yeah, so we'll see. But
all right, Chris, you could take that picture down. It's
yeah, I know. I'm yeah, I don't want to have to see that again either.
All right, so since we're on the case of Mets and Yankees, who signed with the opposite teams, we did another list, right? So why don't you start it off and give me five players that people forget played for the Mets and Yankees. What's your list?
All right. Mine gets a little obscure towards the end, but we'll start off easy. Remember Mike Stanton, the relief pitcher?
Yes.
Had so many great years with the Yankees in that 90s bullpen, and he was so good for us, and then he pitched for you guys a couple of years, right?
And he wasn't so good. Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. I didn't want to say that. I didn't.
I'll say it.
All right. I'll let you add whatever to these. Shane Spencer. He's another one, right?
That's right.
Was great for us with a couple of years. Came up, but eventually he finished his career with the Mets of all teams.
Yeah, I remember that. He another one who was better with the Yankees, of course.
Yeah. Here's another one that people forget. I know for sure people are going to forget this one, that played for the Yankees and the Mets. Oh wait, I'm on.
Okay, let's get this.
Mets will get a rookie ball arm in the deal that sends McNeil to the A's. Sources tell the Mets sending cash to help covers. Okay,
so they just wanted to get rid of him. Okay.
Yeah, that's basically what that was.
Yeah.
You said that right.
Yeah, those. Yes. All right, that's okay. Well, that's good. So now we cleared him off the roster, got rid of someone else. All right, go ahead,
plus
Chris.
$2 million buyout on the club option for the next year. Okay,
gotcha. All right, thanks, Armand.
Salary dump, basically. Yes. Cohn, yeah. Mario just wrote that up. David Cohn, yeah, that's a big one. He's one of the few that pitched well for both of us.
For both of them,
right?
Yes.
He's one of those that worked out good.
And he actually has more wins as a Met too. So, which is good. But if he ever went into the Hall of Fame, he'd be going in with the Yankee cap. So because of the World Series. All right. So who you said Shane Spencer? Who else did you have after that?
Number 3, a shortstop. Remember Rafael Santana?
Yes,
he played for the Yankees.
86 Mets.
There you go. He wasn't great for either team, but he was better definitely for the Mets.
Well, he won a World Series. He was on the 86 Mets. So,
yeah,
he was in the right place at the right time. All right, that's a good one.
And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being that guy.
No.
All right. If you remember, I forgot he played for the Mets, but Dellin Betances.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, yes, I remember.
Another one
that wasn't
really bad for the Mets, but
yeah, that wasn't that long ago either.
All right, great for us. I thought he'd be on our team, being the setup guy to Rivera forever, But
yeah, so did I. So is that 5 of them?
No, I'm going to give you one more.
Okay.
This guy is not a big name, not a big player, but I always use him if like I always bring him up when people ask for a Yankee Met name that's very obscure because he's not good. He's from the 80s. So he's one of those guys that if I say his name, most people are going to be like, I never heard of this guy. But you probably remember him. Lee Gooderman.
Yes.
Reliever, right?
Yes.
Big tall guy, right? Left-hander. Yep. Yeah. I just remember him. And he played for Seattle. We got him in a trade. But all right, good.
Those are good. Those are good, Chris. Let's see if you remember. You're gonna know these players, but let's see if you remember them as a Yankee, because some of them it's like, oh, that's right. All right, here's one. Jesse Orosco pitched for the Yankees.
Yeah. Okay, not long though, right? Maybe a year.
Not even. He pitched for the Yankees in 2003, and he had an ERA of 10.38 for the Yankees. So he didn't pitch that long. All right, so Jesse Orosco, but Jesse Orosco pitched for almost everybody anyway. So
and he pitched forever, over 20 years. I mean, right? I mean, that guy had a career and a half, more than a career and a half.
He pitched forever. All right, so here's another one, Darryl Boston. He played for the Mets from 90 to 92, and then he played for the Yankees in 1997. He played for the Yankees, 52 games.
Yeah, that
14 RBIs.
Wow. That one I don't remember, but okay.
So the Yankees had both Darryls, just like the Mets, Darryl Strawberry and Darryl Boston. One
of them worked out really well for us, and the other one not so much.
Yeah, we don't want to hear about that.
Yeah.
All right, Ike Davis. He
That I
he
remember. Yeah.
yeah. Ike Davis, I mean, for those 4 years with the Mets, the guy was hitting home runs, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he had 68 home runs for the Mets, 0 for the Yankees.
He didn't do much
He's
for
one of those players who just died, who
us. Right,
just lost it.
yeah.
I mean, and his father pitched for the Yankees too, Ron Davis. But yeah, Ike Davis. What happened to him? Really?
I know. It's amazing when you see a player come up and show so much promise, and you think, "Wow, we're going to have this guy for another decade, right? He's going to be our first baseman forever," and then he just falls off a cliff. It's amazing.
Okay, here's another one that I didn't even remember that he played for the Yankees, but Kevin Elster. He played from the Mets from 86 till 92. Then he played for the Yankees in 94 and 95. Do you remember that?
Yeah, that's the days before Derek Jeter.
Yes.
we could name 90, anything before 96 before Derek Jeter days.
Yeah. BJD. Yeah.
Right. And there you go. He was probably one of the last, maybe he was the last guy to play shortstop for the Yankees before Derek Jeter took over in 96.
Yeah, that's possible.
And
but
Tony Fernandez, right?
Right. And he played for both of them too.
Mm-hmm.
For the Mets and the Yankees. So that's another guy. But okay, here's one more. Xavier Nady.
Yes, I remember. And I was so into that trade when the Yankees got him from, I think it was Pittsburgh, right? Was it Pittsburgh we got him from? Man, I was like, man, that guy's going to be great. And then just didn't work out. Yeah.
But so those are some of the players. And we're going to do this throughout, the off season. We're going to do lists like we were doing until all this other stuff started. All right, so let's talk about Cody Bellinger right now. What do you think's going on with Cody Bellinger?
I think, listen, they put up I think what they did was they set a price, right? Him and Boris, whatever, they set a price for him, and it's nowhere near what the teams are willing to go near, right? So now it's like, all the teams are like, nope, we're not going to pay whatever it is. Like, let's say if it's 7-8 years, they probably don't want to go anywhere near that amount. They're probably talking about close to 4 to 5 years. So I think that's what they're kind of waiting for. And, I think what they're probably doing, trade, he's a Met. Possibly. That's very possible. I could see it, but I also think this is another possibility. Maybe the Bellinger camp or whatever is waiting for Kyle Tucker to sign first, right? Because if Kyle Tucker signs, then the teams are going to get really desperate and say, "Oh, we got to sign Bellinger now because he's really the best of what's out there." So, but we're used to Boris and what's going on. He does it, but look what happened last year with Alonso, and then look at the contract he got him this year. So, it worked out for him. Okay, there's the deal. McNeil and 5.7 million of the 15.7. So basically, they're getting Jeff McNeil for $10 million. The A's. Yeah, so they got to pay the $10 million. They're going to pay the $2 million buyout after this year. If the option isn't exercised, okay, and then the Mets receive Yordan Rodriguez, and he's a rookie guy, so you may not see him for a couple of years, but he may turn into something. You never know. The Mets have a good farm system, and they have a good pitching coach, pitching program, and
pitching.
You guys know that better than I do. So, I listen. That's a good deal, and this does open up a roster spot, obviously, possibly for Bellinger.
Yeah, but the Mets see that if the A's would have done so, it would have been more money. I don't think the Mets would. The Mets. I don't think the Mets wanted to take that on, especially if they got to pay some of McNeil. That would be too much money for that deal, I think. What do you think?
Doesn't Severino have like 2 years left?
Yeah, he signed that big contract with them too. I mean,
trust me, he wants out, but I don't know if he's got this year. There's a lot of money for him. He's got $25 million this year coming, and then he's got a player option at $22 million the following year.
And we
That's
know what he's going to. They're going to probably try to buy him out.
Yeah, so 2 years, $47 million. Do you want to take Severino at 2 for 47? I don't know.
And this is, this will be two. He was already gone last year, and who knows how he would pitch. So that would be really, really risky.
He's 32 this year. He'll be 32.
Yeah. All right, but it might be risky too. That might just be.
Yeah, no, that's a lot of money to risk too. 2 years, $47 million. I think this way it's better. You clear, $10 million off of your cap. Now you got, some room, to sign somebody. So yeah. I like it.
And the Mets need innings so bad. What if they traded straight up McNeil for Severino? I wonder. I
just think that's a lot of money coming back. You know what I mean? And I don't,
I agree. I agree with you.
That might have been talked about, though. Listen, they might have spoke about that, but the Mets probably were like, listen, you got to pay down some of that guy's contracts because we're not taking, $40-something million and you're only taking 15. So I think they would have, wanted that to be worked out a little better. But I'm sure it might have been. It was probably brought up in that way,
Yeah, I agree. All right, so let's talk about something that I was thinking about before. Pete Alonso. All right, like we said, all the fanfare and everything, and you can't blame Baltimore. And the Oriole fans are excited, which I don't blame them at all. It's a big loss for the Mets. But what happens if Pete gets off to a slow start in Baltimore? Do you think because of all the fanfare and everything that's going on, do you think if he gets off to a slow start, like Soto did with the Mets, what do you think happens in Baltimore?
I don't think it's going to be – I don't know if it's going to be that bad. I don't know if they're that intense where if a guy starts off bad, they're going to start booing him or something like that. I could see him starting off slow too because it's a different ballpark. It's a different league altogether. So, yeah, I could see him definitely, starting off slow. And, like Strike Blitz here is saying, there is less pressure in Baltimore. No doubt, but he does come with some pressure because they just signed him to this huge contract. So there is some pressure there, but he's also in a nice – he's also walking into a nice lineup, right? There's some good bats in that lineup. He could kind of just fall right in there, 3, 4, 5 batter, whatever they put him. So, but yeah, I could see him struggling because right-handers do have a little bit of a problem there because they did push the field, the wall back a little bit. Yeah. So it's not like it used to be like a bandbox, how it used to be years ago. But yeah, I could see him starting off slow, especially, there's no pressure in Baltimore. There is less pressure, but there is a lot now. I'm sure he's going to take a lot on him because, I just signed this big contract. I want to hit, I want to hit 40 home runs this year and prove that it was a good contract. So, but yeah, I don't think it's going to be as bad as if he signed in New York and he started off bad. You know what I mean? It's a little different, obviously.
Yeah, like last year with Soto. And then look what happened. Soto ended up having a Soto year anyway. So you're right. But the Mets got to get protection for Soto. We talked about it with Mickey on Friday night. Also, if he doesn't have protection, they're going to just walk him. They're going to just walk him.
Why pitch to him, right? I mean, if you're going to have Polanco hitting behind him, the one thing I got to say, and I really think this is going to happen, whether it's with the Mets or with another team, I think Vientos is going to bounce back big time this year.
You said that.
Yeah, I think the guy you seen 2 years ago, that's the guy you're going to get this year. I'm not going to say he's going to hit 50 home runs, and I don't think he should be the protector for Juan Soto. But you know what? I see him bouncing back in a big way. I think Gunnar is going to have a monster year. Yeah, I totally agree. Absolutely. He's going to bounce. I thought Gunnar was going to bounce back anyway. So now he's got that guy behind him. So yeah, why not? And I could see Holiday, improving a little bit too. He's going to bounce back. Rutschman's got to bounce back a little bit as well. So yeah, I mean that's going to be a pretty good, lineup.
Yeah, and the sophomore slump is real. Yes, it is real. Hopefully he bounces back, but the Mets still need a center fielder. And now with today they introduced Jorge Polanco, and they had the press conference, and he said that he was preparing for first base last season with Seattle.
Yes.
Okay, so he said that today, and he was offering free agency. He was offering to play any position, second base, first base. So, maybe he's been taking some fielding at first base. If he said it, he had to be doing it. So maybe he plays some first, Chris. I don't know.
Oh yeah, no, you know what? I did read that in an article where he was already taking, a lot of work at first base. He didn't play first base, but he did work on first base a lot when he was with Seattle last year. So, preparing not to play first base for the Mets, obviously, but to play first base more if needed. So I don't think he's coming in, as green as, as everybody thinks. You know what I mean? I think he's got a nice little, starting point already at playing first base. So he should be okay. The guy's a good athlete, obviously. Played shortstop. He could play third. He could play second. But, yeah, I would still want another first baseman on this team, Just like the Yankees. I think the Yankees need a first baseman, too, to go along with Rice. I think Rice is, he's definitely going to be the starting first baseman. Excuse me. But they need to have a good backup behind him for sure. So I think both teams need that. Needs to move to first sooner than later if he wants to stay healthy. Yeah. And his bat has to get going too.
Yeah,
right? That bat's got to wake up, or that guy ain't going to be in the major leagues too long.
Yeah, and he's right. Strike blitz. He's always injured. So they have to do something really. They need his bat. If he wasn't hurt all the time, who knows what he would do with the bat. So yeah, that's another thing. But anyway, all right, going around the major leagues, the White Sox, Chris, made a big signing for them. What did you think about that?
You know what? That was a really good signing for them, Murakami. The Japanese big power hitter. Will that be the same that was from there? The guy hit 50 home runs, 40 home runs, whatever. Is that going to be the same here in the majors? I don't know, but you know what? Why not? If you're the White Sox, that's not a bad deal. 2 years, I think it was $34 million. That's really not a bad deal for a big power bat. If he does become a big power bat for them, I mean, he could bat like fifth or sixth in that lineup, and and not have much pressure on him because obviously the White Sox are not coming in with a lot of pressure anyway. So I think it was a good deal. And listen, if he hits that good, you could see him traded at the trade deadline. He becomes a big trade piece for them. So I think it works out pretty good, and it works out good for him because if he does have a good 2 seasons, he's a free agent at like 28 years old again, which is great. He gets into free agency at the right time, age-wise. So I think it's a win-win. It's a good gamble. I understand why the Mets wouldn't want him because he's not a good 2 years, $34 million plus $6 million.
And the posting fee.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
That's not bad at all for them. I think that's a good, a good risk to take for them. I think the Mets didn't want him because defensively, he's not good. He can play first. He can play third, but he's not good defensively. But they didn't want to, chance the offense, I guess, so I totally get it. But I think for the White Sox, it's a good move. And for him, 2 years.
Yeah, I agree with you totally. For both of them, it's only 2 years. If he hits and he hits like he was hitting in Japan and the White Sox are out of it at the trade deadline, they could, they could get some good players back for him. And if not, it's only 2 years. And for him, if he does have that power, in 2 years, who knows? He could name his price if he hits that many home runs here. But remember, we also have the other thing looming after next season, the work stoppage. So Who knows how that's going to affect everything. It's still, some people are like, well, I don't think it's going to be that long. I don't know. I think it might be a long work stoppage. What do you think, Chris?
I don't know. I don't think so. I just think cooler heads are going to prevail. Right. I don't know. I just can't see them being that dumb to let all this momentum that they got. I mean, they are stupid. Yeah,
Yeah.
they can be that stupid and be that greedy, but they have all this momentum going their way. So
Yeah, that's right.
So.
That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. That's why it's a big thing.
He's going to
Those
stack
2
up.
years, yeah, I think so. And Armand thinks the whole
I don't
season.
know. I don't think so. I'm gonna go no. I don't think we're gonna. I'll say it. I predict we're not gonna miss any games.
So you think?
Really
what about spring train? What about spring training that year?
I think everything's gonna be delayed, kind of.
Okay.
You know. But I just don't see us missing games. I really don't, because they got so much momentum going in that direction, in the right direction now, that they just signed the TV deals this year, brand new TV deals.
That's
you want to
true.
mess up too, they just had a great World Series, great ratings, all that stuff. Just don't mess it up. Right? Just don't get too greedy on either side. Meet in the middle somewhere, wherever that might be. I don't know, but they got to figure it out.
Yeah, free agency next season. You're right. I'm curious too to see that's.
Well, it really depends, right?
Right.
It depends next off season. I mean, once the off season hits, right, the CBA agreement ends. So there's gonna be nothing at all. If they don't come to an agreement before the season ends, you're not going to see any free agency moves. No big moves anyway until
you're right.
The new deal is signed.
But what I also think, though, Chris, like you said, you don't think they're going to miss any games. But even if it's spring training and then they have to extend spring training. Remember, they're playing baseball now. Sometimes November. Like what? Well, they can't play in December. It's crazy.
No, definitely not. No, you can't do that. So maybe if they start everything a month late or something, maybe you'll get like a 130 game season, right, or whatever it is. But
I hate that.
I know, but I don't know. I don't think we're gonna miss much time, if any.
Hopefully.
To me, it just doesn't make sense for them to do that. Especially with, I don't know. You're not going to catch the NFL as the most popular sport in America, right? That's never going to happen. But if they could get back into number 2 and be that, right there with them, I think that's what the hope for. So don't mess this up. I think the players are going to, I don't think they want a salary cap. They're not going to say they want one. But at the end of the day, if it's high enough, the cap, and if they and if they come in with a floor as well, they might okay it, because think about this. The majority of the union, the majority of the players in baseball are not superstars, right? They're all making either the minimum wage or a little bit higher. So they might be like, hey, as long as we get our money, we're good, because they only got a short career anyway.
Yes.
The cut players under. Yeah. I mean, listen, that's the whole thing. How high is the cap going to be, right? If it's $300 million, who's going to have to cut anybody? Nobody, right?
Yeah, but would they have to grandfather certain things in also? Okay, that's
Maybe.
Possible too.
I'm sure the Dodgers would want to, all the money that they're pushing forward, not just with Shohei, but they've got like 5, 6, 7 players that, that are taking all those future payments. So a team like that would probably want, but I don't know. I mean,
listen, I kind of agree with Armand about players union will never accept the cap. They've never indicated that they would even talk about a cap, really. So I don't know.
You got to remember what they're saying in public. That's the union president, right? So of course he's going to say that. And to me, as long as the cap is high enough, like if they say, okay, 200 million as the cap, yeah, of course the players are never going to go for it. But when you look at, okay, just real quick, I'm going to put this up.
Okay.
When you look at the teams, right now, there's only 3 teams that are going over 300 million: Philadelphia, the Mets, and then the Dodgers. Toronto and the Yankees are at 280, so maybe they'll go higher. Actually, this is 2026. Let me look at 2025. Here.
Okay.
Let's do it this way. Okay. Let me put this up so we can all look at it.
Yeah, because
all right. So now look at this. Now, if this is with the tax and everything else, 417, that's the tax and the amount, right? So let's just say I think it's cash, right? Is what we should be looking at. Total cash. Payroll.
All right.
I'm trying to see what the total payroll, right?
Right.
If they're almost at 300 million, like if they make it, let's say 275 as the cap, right? That's not bad, right? Even the big money guys like the Dodgers, the Mets, the Yankees, the Phillies, the Blue Jays now, right? They won't have to worry about cutting that much because every year contracts come off, right? And in a couple of years, Stanton's coming off our, the Yankee thing. So that's going to be a lot of money right there. Cole the year after. So, but when you look at it, if they say 100, let's just use a low floor that they have to at least pay, right? So let's say if it's 150 million, I'm just using that as an example. Let's say 150 is the floor that you have to spend on salary, right? Look how many teams are under 150 million from Milwaukee. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 teams that are not at 150 million. And that's like super low when you look at the right. So I think if they do something like that, where the high is say 275 and the low is make it 170. If you make it 175, then you're talking about more than half the league. Look how much more money all those teams have to spend. Right.
Right.
So all that money is going to go towards salary. So the players would actually probably want that.
Yeah, the owners want $180 million.
There's no way the cap can only be 180. That's I think it's going to be in the 200s. See, that's where I think the players and the union and the owners could try to figure that out. So if I'm the players union, I'd say, okay, if you want a cap, it's got to be like 275 and the low's got to be 150, or 250, 150 at least. That would be like where you could work with at least. And then all that money is going to go back into all those teams that have to get to the 150 range. So I think they really would do it.
Yeah. And what if there's a cap?
Forget that. That ain't happening.
That's not happening.
No. They'll have, they'll have, the special days where we see now with the Yankees and Mets and stuff like that. But Dunn is even throughout the league thought it's the balance. Yeah, I think 180 is way too low.
It is.
I don't know how, teams like the Yankees, Mets, and Dodgers are going to get to 180, right? I mean, that would be crazy. Think about it. The Mets are paying one guy $50 million when you think of it that way. The Yankees are paying one guy $40 million.
Yeah, well, yes,
right.
Yes, that's correct. That is correct. But
that's what I'm saying. If the bottom is high enough that the players say, okay, right? Because that's the big thing to me. The floor is more important than the gap because you're going to get all these owners to spend so much more on salary if you do that. Even if it's only 150, like we said, that's about half the league has to spend more money, right?
Yes, right.
And the big guys are always going to go right up to the cap no matter what.
Yeah,
right? The Yankees, Dodgers, all those teams are going to go right up to the cap, whatever it is. If it's 250, 275, whatever it is. So I think there's a possibility. As long as if it's 180 as the cap, no
that
won't happen. That ain't going to happen. If it's like 250, 275, I think that's something that the players would be like, okay, if it's 250, the bottom better be at least 150.
I don't know. That union's so strong, but we shall see. Well, yeah, we'll see what happens. All right, we got to go back to the American League East again, Chris, because the Boston Red Sox also made a trade. Why don't you talk about that for a minute?
Oh yeah, I mean they brought in Wilson Contreras, right? I think that was a pretty decent trade. I don't think they gave up a lot for him. Hunter Dobbins, I know Yankee fans remember him. He's the guy that said he'll retire before he plays for the Yankees.
Which is BS, by the way.
Playing. Yeah, of course. We know that. Like, come on. The guy just started Major League Baseball and he's already, talking trash, which is fine. Listen, Yankees, Red Sox, you're allowed to talk trash like that. But Contreras, listen, the guy's been around a while. He's going to be 34 years old. He's had some injury. He's got a little bit of an injury history as well. Last year, 20 home runs, 80 RBIs, batted .257, playing first base now. He's away from a catcher. Scares me. They got Boston's going to be a good team. They got a good young team now, right? They got rid of a lot of their bad contracts. So now they got this nice young team with all these prospects up now. Roman Anthony obviously really played well last year until he got hurt. I mean, listen, they got the pitching. They traded for Sonny Gray. So, yeah, the Red Sox are going to be one of the favorites for sure in the American League. I mean, they got a really good team. I mean, this is not a bad move. It just gives them more flexibility to do stuff now, right? Because now if they want, they could trade Cassis, their other first baseman, possibly, right? They can move him for a pitcher if they need him or whatever. So I thought it was a good move. I didn't think it wasn't like a game-breaking move here.
It wasn't getting Alonso.
Yeah, he would have been good for the Mets too because they could have used him at first base. But it's not a move where I'm like, oh, that's it. That's the end of the season for any of us, So,
yeah, he has decent numbers as a first baseman. He is overvalued, but
right, he's not a catcher anymore.
No, he's not a catcher anymore. The Red Sox, you heard the Red Sox with Alonso, but I don't think that the Red Sox wanted to go with the 150 for 5 years for Alonso. So
yeah, it makes sense.
It makes sense. But listen, that American League East is going to be a beast, I think. I really do. The Yankees do have to start making some moves, though, Chris.
Absolutely. I'm totally agreeing with you. Trust me. I think every Yankee fan agrees with you. This division is really good. I mean, obviously Toronto, we keep saying it. They were like, a couple of outs away from winning the World Series last year, from beating the Dodgers. If they had a better closer, if they had signed Diaz or something, they would be the World Series champs, right? So, I could see that too. Strike Blitz saying 4 teams out of the East could make the playoffs. I don't know if it's going to happen. You know why? Because I think they're going to beat each other up. I don't think it's going to be like they're all going to win 90-something games. There's always that 1 or 2 teams that, that they're just going to get beat up so much that they don't win those 90 games. So, but yeah, it's going to be pretty good. Jay's a very, absolutely. He's a very solid. Every team, you could say, is very, even the Yankees right now, if they do nothing, they still got really good starting pitching. They still got Judge. That's all you need at this point, right, with them. So they still got to make moves, address shortstop. I would say, I don't know about center, but second, I agree with you. And you know what? They're a year away from bringing up Lombard. So I think they're just trying to get through this year. They still got Caballero from last season. He's probably going to start at short. And Volpe still has to prove himself. So we'll see.
Yeah. And the Mets, Marte's been brought up a couple of times with talks. So we'll see what happens with them. He would be a good addition to the Mets. Listen, the Mets, we know the Mets have some moves up their sleeves. Stearns is not going to go into spring training with this team. There's just no way they could do that. So the Mets aren't. It's not over. They're making the moves to set up. Yeah, they're making the moves to set up to make a big move.
But if Bellinger doesn't resign, could you see? I don't know. You know what? They haven't really talked about Volpe in the outfield. But listen, That's possible, but you know what? The first thing is he has to hit. If he doesn't prove that he can start hitting, I don't think he's going to be on this team much longer, right? He has to
Right.
prove, right? They're not going to just throw him out there. I mean, the outfield they have with Dominguez, and they got Spencer Jones if they bring him up. So the outfield they'll have. And you know what? They're, like I said, they're a year away from bringing up Lombard. So he'll probably be here in 2027. So, you know, feel pressure from Cohen if he doesn't.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think so.
I think so. That's why there's got to be a couple of moves coming. So I'm not gonna panic right
Well, here,
now.
let me ask you this quick, right? With the Mets, do you think the Mets are gonna? I'm not gonna say they're not making moves, but let's say they're not gonna put their foot on the pedal, big time with spending money until the casino's ready, and try to combine that same year where they go big on the opening. Like, what is that, 2030? Do you think they just kind of cruise until 2030 and then boom?
Nah, they can't. There's no way they could do that. Forget it. That's funny. Cohen wouldn't be able to show up at Citi Field if that happened. Okay,
I know it's 4 years away. That's true. 3 years away.
Listen, he did it to himself. He said, "In 5 years, I want to win a World Series." Right? So he kind of put that pressure on himself.
Right.
Yeah,
and it's past 5 years. So, well, that's the kid that you guys got. So that's not bad.
No, that's not bad at all. So, well, I don't think that's going to happen because forget it. That's just crazy. The casino, Metro
June
Park is
2030. Okay.
Yeah, and listen, he's going to want to have a great team out there because when people leave the ballpark, he wants them to be happy so that they go to the casino in a happy mood and they spend,
Yeah.
right? He doesn't want a bunch of depressed people just going home. We'll take one, definitely. He did draw. Yeah, he did it to himself though. Stearns, everyone's saying small market. Let's just see with all these moves this year what he has up his sleeve. If
you remember, he's basically hitting the reboot button right now, the reset button,
right
by trading and but not re-signing Alonso, not re-signing Diaz, trading away Nimmo. Like, he's kind of reshuffling things and rebooting things right now to what he wants. Right, he inherited all those guys. Now he's bringing in his guys, building the team around his vision, whatever it might be. So, like you said, we'll see. It might work. Listen, with Milwaukee, they were always a winner, not a World Series winner, but they always got to the playoffs at least. So, see.
Well, hey Chris, like on Friday night show, what Mickey Callaway said, he's like, all right, he's making all these moves, but it better work. Right. It better work.
They're trying to build a culture of the team, right? So now you're bringing in newer guys to build this culture, because the culture before this, unfortunately, was not a winning culture. It was maybe a fun culture. Maybe it was a good culture. All good players. I'm not putting those guys down, but they didn't win a championship. So it's not really a winning culture, just like with the Yankees. The Yankees are always going to have that winning culture because they've got so much championships and all that. But you know what? It's been a long time. It's been since 2009 since they won it. So they need a winning culture back.
Yeah. Well, Soto, it wasn't a miss. So, even though that was Cohen, but Soto's
not a miss. Soto's going to be like what you just seen last year. I mean, that guy is just going to be a hitter every year.
Yeah, and Armand, you're absolutely right, of course, and you can't blame the guy for being pissed about that. Yes, so that's what I said. Soto was Cohen, but
that's true. He's right.
All right. Anyway, Chris, the hour went fast with just me and you on. Okay.
Yes.
So I can't believe it's been an hour. So first of all, we want to thank everybody out there for the great year we've had. We're going to have another show or two before New Year's, but I just want to say thank you. And I hope everybody has happy holiday, Merry Christmas and everything. We will be back on Friday night at 9:00. let's just see what my cousin said. I hope they're. Yeah.
Thank you, and let's thank the new people in the chat. Strike Blitz, we've never seen him. Armand, actually, he's been on a few shows now. Thank you. Who else is new? Mario Ruiz.
Yeah, we've had a lot of new. We've had a lot of new people out there. My cousin Sal out there. We appreciate he checks in every show.
And if you're on YouTube, hit that sub button so you know when we come on. But we're usually Mondays at 3, Fridays we're usually at 9 or 10 o'clock at night. So join us again, man. Every show, man. This was great. This was a good conversation.
Yeah, this was great. And if any breaking news comes on, me and Chris will break out, with a show that day, 20 minutes, a half hour, whatever, if anything happens. But happy holidays to everyone out there. Chris, we will see everyone Friday night at 9 p.m.